animals we're talking about in regards to de-extinction. Next, we'd also like to clarify that de-extinction is simply going to be one tool in the toolbox. Obviously, if you look at our environmental ethics and our approaches towards environmental concerns and environmental problems, we cannot always say that de-extinction is the thing to do or the thing not to do. It has to be on a case-by-case ethical basis. The first and foremost, the University of Oklahoma would like to provide two general ethical frameworks for how we approach interactions with environment and with other species. The first will be already known as deep ecology. Deep ecology is the approach that we have to fundamentally reject this idea that humans and the environment are these separate entities, and this atomistic individualism that pervades Western culture that sort of drives our thoughts towards how we deal with non-human creatures. Additionally, the reason that this is called deep ecology is because it's in rejection of something called shallow ecology, in which problems arise and we simply try to solve the problems after the fact. This is an inherent in de-extinction because a problem has arisen and non-human animals become extincted, and then we create a solution for ex post facto fixing it, de-extinction. At the same time, this is not simply a reason to reject de-extinction. Because of the very nature of something like an extincted species, it's the only thing that can be done after it's brought back to life, or after it's extinct in the first place. The next environmental ethic may seem counterintuitive to the first, but I think whenever we combine them, it'll have a very, very positive approach to our views towards the environment. And that's this acceptance that we've entered the Anthropocene. The Anthropocene is a geological theory that if you look back at human history, eventually, let's say in 300, 400,000 years, if you look at this time period, you're going to see bits of millions of years in the future. You'll see bits of plastic in our, pretty much the rock layers of the Earth. Now, while this geological, it's still debated whether this is a new geological era or not, but what we're going to use this is to say it's a new environmental era. We can no longer think of human beings as separate from nature. And rather than seeing us as separate from nature, we see us as a part of nature, and this is rather liberating because we're able to remake our actions in which we're no longer humans versus the environment or humans versus different species. So our general guidelines are going to be as follows. 1, diversion is bad. What this means is that whenever we're looking at scarce resources and scarce allocation of scientific, pretty much scientific capacity for research, we cannot divert our resources from the species that exist now. What we're saying is that right now there are tons of